Do you remember anything on how?
No.
So the Puppy, stop helping. So you want to be drafting, so pulling this out to make it kind of about that thickness, and then spindling this. Which direction are we going? We're going that way. So that clockwise. Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you continue to draft?
So get it to that it's got a nice amount of spin in it. Yeah.
And then
if you hold it between your knees, like the spindle stick, you can then pull it out and tease it. Okay, welcome to part 2 of my Tour de Fleece little vlog. The iSpin is back working again. Lovely to start a video on some good news. There was no issue with the actual iSpin, it was all to do with the sewing machine. The bobbin and like casing had sort of done that inside the machine, and then that was what it was sort of jamming against. So my partner unscrewed something, pulled it out, and we're like, oh, we've made it work now. So I thought it might be quite simple and that it would be helpful to have someone a bit mechanically minded, which is not me naturally, to have a look at it, and it did. So all good there. So I started doing some on spindle. I'm doing my mixed back project. So this is the black and grey, a little piece of it still here. The remainder of the black with the little bit of grey when I ran out of black to put on my drum carder, but I hadn't made a full bat. So I put a little bit of grey on, and then the subsequent grey and white for the same thing when I was finishing up the grey. So I started it out on spindle because I did want to spin during the day today. And then when my partner got in and fixed this, I've then done some this evening on the e-spinner, which is what I was intending on doing it all of. It's coming out really cute. It's a nice black-grey mix. Not necessarily very obvious in the light, but it looks great in person. I'm enjoying it, even if you don't get to see it. And I've been trying to mix it up a little bit, so it looks like you get like the black and grey on as much kind of mixing as possible. So I've got some sections which are just grey, I've got some sections which are just black, and right at the end it looks like I didn't have as much grey as black. So I've just got like a really long black section to end, but that's fine. Quite entertainingly, I realised as I was looking at it, I've just recreated this yarn, which I already owned. This is the Sirdar Jewel Spun. They sell it at one of the local shops, and it's this, I don't know if they've got names for their colourways or anything, but it's like a black and white and grey one. So it's essentially just this, which is quite cool because I really like this, but this is acrylic. And obviously this is 100% wool, so it's going to be nice to have that variation. And this is a single spun, so essentially at the moment I've just got, oh, and it's even on a nice black and grey. Like it's a bit of a warm, cool variation. Let me just put it here in front of this grey variegated cardigan I'm wearing. I have a type and it's this, at least I know I'll knit it. Yeah, not showing up. It might be because it's not natural light at the moment because it's the evening. But yeah, I've basically recreated this, which is cool because I bought this because I like it. So very fun. And I have decided as well how I am going to spin it. So this and this represents roughly 2/3 of the bat, of the first bat. I have then separated out into a 2/3 pile and a 1/3 pile. This is like the little 1/3 of the black and grey and the white and grey. And I've decided I'm going to whack the tension right up on the e-spinner so I can add this to this bobbin. So we'll have one bobbin that's 2/3 black and grey, one bobbin of 2/3 white and grey, and then one bobbin that's 1/3 of each of the two of them. I think I'm just going to do one and then the other, as opposed to doing any more blending than that, just to keep it kind of simple. Which sort of means I'm kind of doing a certain type of fractal spin. I don't think this is a traditional fractal or anything. But yeah, I'm going to singles all of these up, which I don't think is going to take very long. And then I'm going to do them as a 3-ply yarn, which is cool because I don't do a lot of 3-ply yarn. I think a lot of us don't, because you get more mileage out of out of just making things 2-ply. But apparently it's quite good for stitch definition when you do come to knit it up. So yeah, I'm going to make up a nice 3-ply yarn and then continue to do whatever I decide to do with the next bit. I might, like I briefly mentioned, card up some alpaca and start just spinning that, or I've got some commercially prepared fibre, so I might grab out some of that and start to spin up some of that. Also, when I bought my best friend her spinning wheel, some of the, because it was someone that had passed away and they'd stopped spinning a few years before anyway, they had these bags of fibre that were there. I've taken them all upstairs now. But they had all these bags of fibre, and some of them had their hand spun yarn in it, so I don't know if it might be quite a fun project if I get time, which I really suspect I will, to maybe have a look and see if I could recreate some of their hand spun yarn to make some more of the same type. I don't know. This is winging it. This is my first tour de fleece, so I'm going to use that, as if I don't wing it a lot with my creative projects. But yeah, I've been making some pretty okay progress with my project that I want to do. I'm doing a test knit. Not a test knit. A test knit for my own pattern. A wearable mock-up. That's the right thing. I am knitting myself a wearable mock-up for the alpaca skirt that I want to make. So I'm knitting a skirt in acrylic, and then I was planning on weighing it to see roughly how much alpaca I needed to spin, and then I'm going to take what I've got and try and work out based on that how much I need to make. So that was kind of the alpaca project that I was thinking about. So I have been kind of gently knitting on that in the background, but I'm not feeling very inspired by knitting at the moment, so I've also been doing a lot of cross stitch, which I don't normally do. So yeah, I'm going to keep going with this, and then I will check back in. I'll probably show the 3 individual bobbins when they're done, because I think that might be quite interesting to look at, and then I will show the spun up yarn when it's spun up, and probably some more b-roll in the middle. We can also add another person that I have taught spindle spinning to, which brings the total to 5 so far, which is pretty good considering we're about halfway through. So if I continue at the same rate, we'll have 10 new spindle spinners by the end of this tour de fleece. Save the British wool industry, one tour de fleece at a time. Catch you later. Crafting after midnight, yawning till the dawn, loving till the morning, then it's yarn, it's yarn, it's after midnight, but I really wanted to spin up all my plies. So this is the black and grey, this is the grey and white, and then this is the combi, and I think it's pretty distinctive and interesting. and only looks more and more like this jewel spun commercial yarn that I bought that wasn't even that expensive. But that's not the point. That's not the point. I am gonna wait until the morning before I spin these, so I will be plying all three of them together, just straight up, and however they look. Yeah, pretty happy with how it's all come out so far. Be looking forward to seeing what yarn that comes out as. Not enough to stay up really late spinning them all. So I noticed with spindles, this is one of the things that I was like thinking about earlier when I couldn't spin my on the iSpin because the sewing machine motor was getting jammed. Like a spindle will let you turn it around twice and then stop. But like when you sit down to spin on like an e-spinner, and I don't know if it's all e-spinners or even all people, it's just me, or if it's like just a me thing, like it wants you to sit down and like give it your time and attention. Whereas like spindles you can do while you're chatting when you're out or whatever, like you can do other stuff with it. Like e-spinning it's a focused activity and it wants more time at a time, so you don't just do it for 5 minutes, you like sit down and get a proper chunk of time in. Obviously we're getting towards the end of a project. I'm not gonna make it that like, yeah, that's the end of part 2. That would be madness. I think I'll separate it where it feels right. But I have worked out what I'm gonna do as my next project. I'm gonna do a little bit of prep for that tonight because I think that will be a nice chill way to end my day, and I think this slightly tired, sort of getting to the end of the creativity day is like quite a nice time for it. And that is, I'm gonna do like holographic yarn. So there's a trend. There were a couple of videos that I saw doing holographic hair a while ago, and it was like all over, you did silver, and then you had this pastel stripe that was like light yellow, pink, green, purple, and like had it all together, and then like did another like one kind of round here and then one kind of round here. So I'm gonna do that as a yarn thing, and I'm gonna use some of the reclaimed acrylic. So I've got, well, a mix of fibres, mostly acrylic. So I've got this bag here of a whole load of snips, and they're mine, and I've still got some in here that my mum gave me absolutely years ago, and also my best friend gives me all of hers. So these are all just like the little snippy endy bits from projects. And like my first big spinning project was to brush these, reclaim them, and I knitted myself a little rainbow coloured hat. So I am going to pull out definitely blue, pink and yellow, and I think I'm going to do green as well. And then I'll be brushing them just with the hand cards to turn them into fibre. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do like just combine it with grey and like just kind of brush it all together, or if I was going to do it as a separate ply, and I think I'm going to do it as a separate ply. So I'm going to pull out all of the different colours, hand card them into like their own separate colours, run it as a like colour changing. I don't know how much I'm going to break it up. I think I'll just work it out when I get there. And then I'll spin that up, and that'll probably be the spindle project, because spindling I find slightly better, though I've become a better spinner now. I might be able to do it on the iSpin with the shorter fibres and the really shorter staple length. I find that was easier to control on a spindle as opposed to on a machine which can run a bit quicker, kind of pull away from you a bit more. And then I'll have like a single thing of just the grey wool that I've been using. Like this one, just the light grey that I've got. So I'm going to do that, and I am going to then gift that to my friend as a mystery yarn. So I did a Halloween advent calendar that was all yarn. Like I spun us up yarn, and I cut each of the skeins in half, and we got half each. Which sometimes meant that we got 3 grams, sometimes it meant that we got 10 grams, just depending on what I'd spun up and how much I'd done. And one of the things that I put in there was like a little bonus yarn just for her, which I didn't cut in half, she just got the whole thing. And I wrote in there that it was a mystery yarn and she could just open it whenever she wanted, and she carried it around in her backpack, just waiting the time she didn't want to open it because she didn't want it to be over. It was always something there to open. And the only way I could get her to open it and look at it was to spin her another one so then she could open the original one. It was like, look, here's another one you can open. And we've just kind of kept going with it. So I write down I name it, I write a little description, this is what the yarn is, this is what the fibre is, like this is an experiment that I did. And it's all just the little pieces that, like when you just make a tiny little bit, like if I'd made something that's like this much, and you can't really use it for anything, but it's quite fun to collect, it's quite fun to open. And then she puts them in I like wrap them in paper with the description all written on the inside and the name and stuff. And she puts them in her backpack, and then when she has to commute to work, which she does sometimes, then if the trains are really terrible or if she's having a really tough day, she can just open it and look at it, and then it's like a nice little dopamine hit. So she doesn't watch video content, unless I specifically asked her to, so this is unlikely to be a spoiler in any way. So I'm going to make this holographic yarn as a mystery yarn. So I'll spin it up, wash it, have it all in the skein, and then I will wrap it up. And if the whole process of that occurs during the Tour de Fleece time, I will vlog it, and you can see how I prep them. And yeah, it's just like a nice little blip of friendship and creativity together. But right now I'm going to start sorting through yarn and picking out some nice little colours of fibre to create that holographic streak. See you later. Looks like I'm going to have to update my Lazy Kate if I want to spin my third bobbin. So a knitting needle just in a sewing box is it's not going to cut it. Fortunately, they come in pairs. Goodbye, single knitting needle. Hello, second knitting needle. Woo, the crowd goes wild. Ah! I think this makes me Wolverine. We have plied, which is cool because it means I can go and have lunch now, because I wanted to focus on this because I just really wanted to get it done. So we have a fat bobbin. I do not know if it is a chungus, in fact, but I also realised that perhaps this is all of my current bobbin and setup is able to create. And anyway, I hear that it's only a real chungus if it is from the Chungus region of the Netherlands. Otherwise, it's just sparkling yarn skein. That joke's terrible. I don't care. This is the 3-ply. It's come up nice. It's got a bit of like a barber pole effect, and some parts are lighter and some parts are darker. So I think, yeah, successfully accidentally recreated this yarn quite nicely. Ran out of the 3rd ply, which was the mixed one. And so like the half and half bats, there was one that was all the black and grey, one that was all grey and white, and then one that was half and half. And the half and half one is the one that I mixed out, one that I ran out of. So I decided I'd just do a little 2-ply skein. Did think about like bending one in half and just doing it on like a applying bracelet or a centre pull, but yeah, and I did actually have to do that right at the end with it, because a little skein is a little skein like this is actually still vaguely useful or helpful, but yeah, an additional tiny little super leftover 3 gram skein is probably not wonderfully helpful. It's probably going to be better to have everything as this guy. So just wondered about that one, still just making a little mini skein of the 2 colours pretty much just barber poled together, which is cute. I've also realised I can work out my my mileage, mileage, depends how much I've done, to work out how much I've spun. That's my little mini skein. Because I'm always wrapping it around my arm, it'll be the same for all of the different skeins. So let's do it in centimetres. Let's see if it makes more sense to do it in inches. So to go around my yarn is about 70 centimetres. So 30 centimetres is about a foot. So this is a little over 2 feet, like 2 feet is there. So we can work out based on a 70 centimetre wrap. We can do the maths later. So yeah, 70 centimetres or about 28 inches. Birthday gift. So I will work out at the end of Tour de Fleece, and I'll do a little breakdown. I'll pop it in a little spreadsheet or something, because I do like a spreadsheet or just a list. Although if I put it in a spreadsheet, I can put in the maths to work out automatically what the actual amount is. And then I can see how much I've spun. I vaguely recall, and I'm going to need to rewatch the video to work out if it was Tour de Fleece that she was doing, but I watched a Gillian Eve video where she was working in teams and they were trying to see who could, I think they were competing. So it was like a team of 8 people or something, and they were maybe in a Facebook group or something where they were talking about who could spin the most yarn in the week. Might have been something separate if it was only a week. And her rules for it, or the ones in that group, was that if you spun a single, because then it didn't matter if you chain plied it or 2 bobbins or 3 ply or cable ply or whatever. It was basically every time the yarn passed through your hands, you counted the meterage or yardage on that. So if you ended up with a 2-ply yarn that was 50 metres, you counted 50 metres of single, 50 metres of the other single, and then the 50 metres of plying, so that would count as 150 metres of spinning. And so I'm going to use those rules when I work it out as kind of a guidance. So imagine spinning yarn and actually having this in any way secured. It's fully like going all over. I don't think it's normally that violent. I'm just amped up today. Spins past my face. Spider-Man yarn. Maybe it's that 3rd ply. It's just stronger than the bobbin is heavy. So yeah, I'm going to use that and I'll work out how much that I've done, and I'll have some stats on it, which I don't normally care to do because I don't think it's necessarily very helpful or valuable. I have done in the past some more measurements on it, but I think it would be quite fun because it's a specific project. So bobbin chicken, mini chongus, sparkling yarn skein. So this is what we are looking like. So we've got our lighter part here. We've got this kind of more mixed bit. I don't really see a darker part actually. There's that light bit's quite distinctive. The mix and the darker parts appear to be quite subsumed within that, which is interesting. I don't know if I can even properly fold this into a skein. We're going to just have to do our best. So I separated out some of the acrylic fibres for reclaiming. So I'll be starting carding those after lunch before I go and see my neighbour. This is just a hank ball. This has turned into because I can't get like a good twist out of it. Wonderful. So that's project 2 done. I started separating out the acrylic fibres, and I've got them all separated into little plastic bags. So we've got some pink, we've got some purple, we've got yellow, we've got blue, and we've got green. So I'll be whacking out the hand carders and starting to combine those to make them into rollags, and then I will be spinning those up into a single ply and then matching that with a grey ply. If it feels like a particularly pathetic amount of yarn that I'm making, I might grab out some more. I've still got loads in the bag, like it's a massive bag. I haven't even scratched the surface. And I may have to grab some more out with the colour blending. The quite nice thing about the hand cards that I found when I've been using the acrylic is I get quite a lot of control over what the colour is. If I was a very proficient yarn dyer, I would probably also be able to create a predictable colour. But it's sort of like you start mixing it up and then you look at it and you can go like, oh, actually it's a bit darker or it's a bit pale, and then you can add in more black or white, and you can get like a good enough blend on a hand carder to end up with something very uniform in colour across, which I haven't necessarily found from using my drum carder, but that may also just be my own experience of not putting it through as well. So yeah, happy with project number 2. That'll need to now just go into the washing pile, which is just inside that same box that I use for my Lazy Kate. And so yeah, I'll wash that later when I have a shower, because I'm using the grey water. I may talk through that process a little bit. The black and red is still in the process of drying, and I haven't checked the whole black fleece today, so I'll provide updates on those whenever I feel like it. Catch you later.
Okay, you're on.
Woohoo!
Do you want me to just film your hands?
Whatever you want to film.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't get my feet in because it's free feet on the internet.
I've got my messy corridor. There's no way to crop videos.
There is, whether I can work out how to do it or not.
That's okay. I will turn slightly to the right, and now you've got my board games in the background instead.
Cool. So yeah, this didn't actually need that much setting up, it's all just kind of working, so
That's awesome.
I'll get you on drafting before I use up all of this fibre.
Oh, I don't mind if you use it. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, then you'll just need to grab some more when you're
Yeah.
go to do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Do not do it on a half pistol squat. Like, I was trying to get my hands at the right level, so I've got my left leg bent. Don't do that.
Oh, why? What happened?
My thigh is burning.
Oh.
Still stand up straight.
I'm as good at drafting. I keep stopping to like.
Yeah, that's the only annoying thing about like a foot treadle.
Yeah.
Because with the e-spinner that I've got, you just stop and it stops.
You just stop. Yeah.
And then you can faff about with it. Whereas this one, like it kind of keeps going.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Mm.
It's so pretty. It's like
Is it like a merino dyed piece?
I think it's a merino and bamboo blend.
Yeah, it's nice. It had quite like a dry feel to it.
Yeah, it does.
So remember, you're going that way.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so I spent a lot of time today carding my floofs, and I've decided on this order to put them in. So I'm going to have a few kind of short pieces, kind of getting longer, do kind of a long purple section, kind of do some short ones, and then do a longer blue section and do something short again. So it kind of looks like it's got a focus on the purple and a focus on the blue, and then some kind of colour changes between. So I think I'm going to start spinning those up on spindle because that's just what I fancy doing at the moment. And then I'll find a way to pack this up, and then this can be my little travel project, assuming that I don't just power through and spin it all now before I go to bed. We'll see what happens. Okay, we have updates. It is about noon on Friday, and I finished carding up the fibre, which I think I showed last night, and I've spun some of it up on my spindle, which is now ready for travelling. I'm going out later to work a circus gig, and I think I'm going to have quite a lot of time sat backstage just waiting for cues and stuff. So yeah, I think we've got quite a long time there where I'm likely to be sat around waiting because it's a little bit of a different format. So that's going to come with me. I'm also going to take a bat of grey with me and some stuff to wind up onto. So I'm going to basically go as if I'm going to spin up all of the fibre and basically complete that project entirely on spindle, which I might. All of our black and red has dried, and I measured it. I set up my spreadsheet, so I've got all my maths going, and that also means that then I can measure the totals without needing to actually do the maths, so it gets to be a nice surprise at the end. So I will reveal that this is in fact 270 metres, which I think makes it a singular chungus skein if we're comparing against mine Walden. I haven't weighed the actual like gram weight of it, which I probably will when I combine it together. So I've measured each hank, like based on how many wraps I did, and just combined that all together. I also measured the second project, and I'm going to keep that one under wraps, mostly because I forgot what the number was and I haven't got it up on the screen behind me. But I have measured it, and I am going to measure this one along with, and then anything else that I get done. And I've also included the Gillian Eve old video, which I will rewatch now while I'm eating lunch. Thing of every time the yarn has passed through my hand, so I've got the multiplications up on that, and I'll share everything as totals. I've set up the spreadsheet with 2 sheets. So I've got one page where I'm just going to input the raw numbers, and then it's got all of the maths in it for the multiplications. So measured by how many wraps, and then the multiplication by 70 to know how many centimetres, the division to make it into metres, yards, miles, whatever. I've yet to spin a mile of yarn. I'm about a fifth of the way there. So I guess that's spoilers for how much I spun on the second one. Although I might do the multiplication up for the mileage. So yeah, I might do them. I've done the multiplications all up for things in metres, because that's mostly how I've seen it. It's mostly how it appears on ball bands, but I'll include all the numbers in every form because that's fun. So yeah, that's how far we've got. I checked the fleece in the shed and I thought, oh, it's dry. Started touching bits to like pack it up into one of my plastic boxes, and it is not in fact dry. Found like a little wet spot. So bits of it are dry, bits of it are not dry. So yeah, I washed that on either Monday or Tuesday, and it's Friday and it's not dried yet, drying inside. So yeah, fingers crossed that might be done by Sunday, and then I can pack it away, and then I have a bit more flexibility of being able to access more things in this shed, although I've got quite a good amount of stuff in here. So yeah, I won't be unable to spin because of it. There's plenty of stuff. So yeah, keep going with this project, possibly get it finished by Sunday, and then we've got like another week of stuff to do, and we'll work out what I'm doing then. Catch you later.
we'll need to do that.
Do you want me to do it?
Can we do the fire stuff first?
Yeah.
And then we'll do Gareth's makeup. It's awful, but we'll have to do it today. Right, do me a favour.
Once a year. Not normally dressed like this though.
Oh really? That's
Although
nice.
this is actually my everyday shirt.
Yeah. I was going to say that's what I usually wear on a Friday night.
Although I do
But
like these,
this.
I might keep these.
Yeah. So I've got a pair like that. I've got a little onesie thing that I usually wear when I'm stilt walking, and it's quite similar. Did you see my Harlequin outfit earlier?
Yes.
I've got something that's like that. It's half Harlequin and half dots.
Like I didn't wear mine.
One of us will have to change. So I've been trying to show all these different places where I've been taking my spindles to spin, and yesterday it was a circus show, and I was performing.
Right way. I better I'll unspin it if I've been going the wrong way.
Oh no, don't worry. That's the one I've been taking to teach people.
I'm going that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the teaching one. So you've got a little bit.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. So it doesn't matter who. If somebody makes a mess of it, it's not your perfect one. That's a nice one.
Yeah, I was having a go at doing. So you know when you cut your cast on tail, and like you've finished doing your sewing up, and you've got all those little bits that are that long. Well, I've kept hold of all of mine of those.
Good idea.
And then carded them, and that's what this is. So I'm going to make a single ply of this and a single ply of grey.
Right. Yeah.
I've got the
Oh,
grey.
that'd be pretty together. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tour de Fleece update. It is Saturday afternoon, so we are now 2 weeks in. Who knows? What is time? I've finished this. So this is the holographic. This is the single from the reclaimed acrylic scraps. I did a reasonable amount last night. I was, as I expected, I did have quite a lot of time to hang out, although because of traffic I didn't get there as early, and I did manage to nip away really quickly after, so didn't get everything done, but did a little bit last night with my clown buddy. I had a go at teaching somebody as well, because they were like, oh, what are you doing? So I told a couple of people about spinning, and I think a couple of people saw their first spindle or real life spindle, or have seen in the since they were like a child, of like, oh yeah, I have a vague memory of my grandmother doing that. So I think that was quite cool last night, and yeah, someone had a bit of a go. He didn't he didn't take to it, but he knows what it is now, I guess. That kind of counts as teaching someone. But to be fair, also had to run out and sing a musical number because I was working at a musical, doing some circus stuff. So finished this today. I was doing some life modelling, so we had a little coffee break, and I did some in that with one of the ladies that was she was there last time, and we ended up talking about spinning, and it turns out she's also a spindle spinner, and she also uses a wheel, so same as me, does both, and she was very excited that I had some there, and I was like, oh, do you want to get a coffee afterwards? And she had to go off and do something else, but we've exchanged details now. And I had my spare spindle, so she had a bit of a spin round on that. I didn't teach her anything, she just did it. And I had this bat, which I'd taken with me for the ply for this, because I took the same bag as I had out last night. It had snacks and some spindles in it. What else do you really need when you leave the house but a crafting project and some snacks? So I, in a moment of generosity, ripped a little bit of the bat off, so I gave her kind of that bit. She goes, no, I couldn't possibly. I've got loads already, don't need it. It's like, oh, well, I've got loads too. You can just have a little bit, have a little sample, have something to play with. And she's very happy about that. She left me a cute little note because she had to run off early while I was still modelling, saying, like, thank you for that. So my plan now is to do this. I'm going to do this on my e-spinner. I was initially thinking that I might end up doing both on the spindle just because of where I was, but I'm home now. I'm home for the rest of the day, so it should be easy enough to just whiz this up. I suspect I'm going to have a little bit more grey than I will this, but I'll just fold it over and ply it on itself, or combine it with something else, or whatever. So I'm just going to do this whole thing and combine it with this. in the same way as I was doing before with my red and black project. I have my partially made wearable mock-up full skirt. So I want to make this in alpaca. So I'm knitting it at the moment in acrylic to try and see how much yarn I need, because I'm sizing up the pattern because it's for children. I got this one in the local charity shop. I appreciate a haunted child's face. I think this one is the most haunted. This one is the most I'm going to come and get you. And this is the most please don't leave me with them. So wonderful vintage pattern. Haunted. It's got the copyright on it, so this is from 1971. A lot of the patterns there are from like the 60s. So I'm making this skirt-ish. I'm having a bit of a play around with the cables, seeing what I like, and just testing out the size, doing it on some bigger needles. So this is how far I've got with that. And this is 6 inches long at the last time I measured it, or it's like around that. And the pattern says to keep going until it's 11 inches long and then do 1 inch of ribbing at the bottom. So this green is the waistband and then the orange is at the end. I've been trying out a couple of different cable variations on it, so I'm going to lightly modify the pattern. Either way, the point of it for the spinning thing is I want to make it again. This is just acrylic that I had in stash. I want to make it again out of hand spun alpaca. So I figure, with this being 6 inches and it needing to be 11 inches plus an inch of ribbing, that's 12 inches overall. What I could do is place this on a scale, and as long as I don't have like the needles in there, that won't be too heavy, and so it should be kind of about accurate to be a quarter of what I need, because it's half a panel and I need to do 2 panels the same. So I'm figuring I will put these on a scale, work out how much it is by weight, how much alpaca I've got that I've already spun, because I've got 2 whole blankets, and I've got this singular ply that's been resting on its high-tech bobbin, just waiting for me to do some more alpaca, because it turns out I can card it on my drum carder, which is cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, or if it would be too like soft and get caught up in the teeth. But I can. So I'm going to work out what weight I need, take what I've got, and then perhaps try and spin up, so then when I'm done knitting this one and I can check the fit and things like that, I'll have enough in stash to be able to immediately cast that on. The other idea I had for another project is far more unhinged, and this kind of thing usually happens when I'm left alone with my own thoughts and unsupervised, such as when I go on a long drive like I did yesterday. So the fleece that I've got at the moment is like all together in a blankety form, and my partner years ago made a LARPing blanket, and it's just a whole load of cut up fur from charity shop fake fur coats, and they've all been sewn together with just a backing on. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I took the whole rolled out fleece as it is at the moment and worked out a way of attaching it so it's locked side up to a blanket? Because I've got one that I bought from Poundland a while ago when I was thinking that I was going to make a quilt. My best friend and I were trying it out, and it turns out neither of us like quilting, and especially not enough to make like a double bed-sized blanket, or double bed-sized blanket for each of us, which I think is what we're looking at doing. It's like made 7 hexes, and they're like, no, don't want to do this. Barely doing a pillowcase at this point. So I've got the blankets that we're going to use as like the batting layer for the quilting. So I'm thinking that if I take that, and Gillian Eve was doing it where she put locks into her weave. So she was doing like she warped it up and then put in the little locks on the way up in between layers of weft, and that had then made it secure enough. So what I'm thinking is, if I lay the blanket down, if I lay the fleece down on top of the blanket flat, so you've got the lock side and then the cut side, if I lay it down like that, and then essentially darn it to it. So it's to recreate the weave, have it sort of taking the shorter ends of the strands, but then still have the locks up. That might secure it enough. I don't know, but it does use a whole fleece, so I don't know how long that'll take. I don't know if it'll be really easy. It's technically not spinning, so it wouldn't fit with a spinning total, but it's my decisions for my own weird crafting, and then it'll make kind of a little fun blanket. I've definitely got enough fibre to do it. I'm not going to be depriving myself of spinning because I'm turning one of the fleeces into that. I've got loads. I've got 2 black fleeces, so I can just use the other ones. It's absolutely fine. I've definitely got enough. So yeah, that is my other plan. So we've got some alpaca spinning that I might do. I've got the remainder of this holographic yarn to do, and I've got this kind of potential sewing-ish project, and I think that might be quite fun and quite comfortable for when I'm on the sofa, so it still feels like I'm engaging kind of Tour de Fleece stuff, but not necessarily needing to do this a lot because that could be quite sore in your arm. So yeah, that's where I am and what I'm doing, and I will catch you later and update you as we go. See you later. It is Sunday around noon. I have just finished spinning up the grey single to go this one, and it is time to play. I'll show you how it looks at the end. It's done! So this is my holographic yarn, and I specifically tried to show the colours on the bobbin, which I thought was quite a fun little bonus challenge. Not until I got to the blue bit, and then I was like, oh, I could show all the different colours, because I wasn't sure how well the contrast, the different colours were coming up, but then when I saw it, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, no, this is about right. Wondering how all the colour transitions are going to look when it's skeined up and when it's knitted up and things like that. I took the rest of it and I just chain plied it, as you might have seen. That's what I was doing, so decided that would be, rather than folding it in half, because there still was quite a lot, rather than just kind of folding it in half and turning it into a massive plying bracelet, which, you know, I can do and it's a valid choice. I just thought I'd chain ply this one because I also haven't chain plied for a while and it is fun. So that is another one. That is just another little mini skein, which I will, little 3-ply yarn, which I will measure up. There's so much energy in this one. That means I've overspun it or underspun it, or it just needs a nice wash and thwack. But either way, that is one nice little skein. I'm now gonna have to get moving onto the alpaca project. I weighed my little skirt mock-up that I've been knitting out of acrylic. I don't know what the weight difference is between like acrylic and alpaca, so this might not be very helpful, but I've got so much alpaca. I've got 2 whole alpaca blankets, so if I need to spin more partway through the project, I can do. It's not a problem. And they're both the same colour as well. They're both what's known as bay black, so it's like a super dark brown. When it's on the alpaca, it's like black with little tips of kind of a dark brown. You can see it as well on some long-haired cats where they're black cats, but because like with their long fluffy black catness, they also then have they've then got like a browny bit on the end, so like they've got like that much black, which is the closest to their skin, and then they've got that much kind of brown, like it's been in the sun, maybe. And honestly, that might be why. But either way, I weighed the skirt, which I've been doing up in acrylic, and it is 30 grams. So the assumption is that being a quarter of the skirt, I need to times that by 4, which gives us 120. I found my little bag of alpaca, because where I've just been spinning it straight, same size, 2-ply, I've just been collecting all the little skeins in a bag. They're all various different sizes, wound in different ways, and I've got about 70 grams in there, which means that I would have another 50 grams to spin, which does feel very, very reasonable. So I think the alpaca might be more dense, so this may be very unhelpful as far as like yardage comparison goes, but we'll start with something and then we'll move on from there. Woohoo! Okay, we got this one in a skein, which is now going to have to be washed with the black and white that I still haven't washed, but I should have space to dry all 4 of those skeins. I think that's come up really pretty. That is nice. We've definitely got like a purple dominance. I can see a lot of pink, but I don't know if that's just because I really hate pink, and so like a tiny little speck of it's like, it's covered in pink, and it's like there's 1 inch of pink. But yeah, we've got the blue, which is really showing up here on the inside, because it was the long bit of blue and the long bit of purple, and I think that's really showing up, and then like the green and yellow between. So yeah, it's come out very pastel-y. It looks cute. I'm still going to give it away. And I'll wind it up. I am going to measure these and add them to my spreadsheet. I rewatched the Gillian Eve video, and it was a spin together that she was doing, if anybody was wondering what I was going on about. And that was where the rules of that were however many times the yarn passes through your hand. So when I measure these, I will then times this one by 3 because it's each single and the ply, and I will times this one by 4 because it is a 3-ply yarn. Technically I only went through my hands twice, but it's 3-ply length, so I guess like each bit went through. I don't know, I'm gonna times it by 4 because it's a 3-ply yarn. So yeah, that is project number 3 completed, including the leftovers. So yeah, project number 4 will be the alpaca project. That may well take us to the end of Tour de Fleece. Like I said, it's Sunday. It's still around kind of midday, so I've still got a full week of spinning to do. So it might be that I've got some more stuff that I wanna do before then. But again, wing it. So professional. Catch you later. This is just going to be nice aesthetic B-roll, but I'm new to using a ball winder. And it is not going smoothly. Be beautiful. Okay, talking quietly here because it's really late at night and I don't want to disturb other people in the house. But I'm just about to wash the yarn from project 2 and project 3, and I'm pretty happy with the way that I've been washing my yarn, because I spin in the grease. I just do like a mild rinse beforehand, so I just do it with the hose, which you would have seen in part 1 with me washing a fleece and like just squishing it. I then give it a proper wash as part of the wet setting process, and that removes a whole load more of the lanolin and dirt and anything else that's been sort of going in there. So use a very high-tech plastic celebrations tin. Put all of my bits of yarn in there. I've got them all. And then what I do is I pop it in the bottom of the shower. And then when I'm showering, I use that shower with the shower gel on it. When I'm using shower gel as opposed to bar soap, which I've got a mixture of. I like squeeze it because it makes loads and loads of foam on there. So I squeeze it like as I'm lathering it up, and then like after I've used it to like rinse it off, and I just let all the foam go in there. So I let it fill up with water, I give it a bit of a tip it out, let it fill up with water again, squeeze it kind of there, and then just kind of keep going until just while I'm showering and staring at the wall, because showers are great for that kind of activity. Kind of while I'm showering, it then ends up being clean, and then I just tip it all out and I hang it up over the taps in the bath, and that means it can drip dry. And I also do all my thwacking in there now as well. I used to do it on the side of the bath, and so it would spray water everywhere. But if you're inside a cubicle, which is specifically designed to keep water in, that actually works really well. So if you were just wet setting your yarn and wanting it to like soak in warm water, popping it in the bottom of the shower thing can be still helpful. But if you're also doing a little bit of soap in there, as long as the soap you're using is like good for wool, which I just use any soap. A lot of people want it to be certain like neutrality and pHs and stuff. But yeah, so that is how I wash my skeins after I've finished spinning them. Catch you later. Okay, so it's about lunchtime on our Monday of the final week of Tour de Fleece. I need to check if it actually finishes on Saturday or Sunday. I suspect I'll be filming my wrap up on Sunday anyway, because I've got a full day of circusing on Saturday, so I won't be in my living room until 1 or 2 a.m, I suspect, if not later. So last night I did bring you along with me for some of this. I have been spinning up my alpaca. The bobbin is just out of frame. I cut it up 4 bats. So this is the last like intact, untouched one. So I made 4 of these. I've been on the iSpin. I meant to go out yesterday, and then the fatigue was hitting too hard, so I didn't end up going out. But I got quite a lot of spinning done. Just sat going. So I've got 1 and maybe 3/4 of one spun on the eye spin. Managed to go out for a wander with my neighbour and our dogs. Took a bat with me, and this is going to be my basically travel project until I've finished spinning alpaca. I gave her like 1/4 to 1/8 of a bat just to spin because I taught her to drop spindle last year, so we were spinning. So I've got maybe half of one left unspun here. So I did maybe 1/4 of a bat last night when we were out in the woods. I did film some, but it is super dark and you can't see that we're spinning or anything, so it's just a black video of us gossiping. So not really worth including. Even on her iPhone, which has got pretty good lighting for making things look lighter than they actually are. The alpaca loves getting stuck in the zip, so that's going to be a fun pull apart later. And that's how much we spun in the dark. A little floof at the top. So that's where we are on the current sort of alpaca situation. I was planning on doing it by weight. I don't know how helpful that's actually going to be because alpaca is quite a dense spin and quite a dense fibre. I think that the grist is going to be very different to the acrylic, so I will at least get up to that 120 grams that I need to basically finish it in acrylic, and then I'll just kind of see where I'm at and maybe spin up a little bit more than that as well. I'm thinking that I'll do all 4 bats and then I'll weigh that, see what we're at, and then maybe do like another multiple of that. Also baked a yarn cake. Oh, here it is. It is slightly less beautiful than I had envisaged in my head. What I was thinking of when I was making it and wanting it to look all beautiful and nice was of the Caron, the yarn cakes, the hobby ones, Sultan, that's one, the Sultan cotton yarn ones, that start in the middle with a colour and then go out to like the black, because I'd had one of those, the purple gem or amethyst or something like that, and I'd made a full colour cardigan with it. So I was sort of thinking of that, and yeah, this is how it looks. Not a fan of the bull winder, as you may have seen, or just I'm not familiar with it enough to be a fan of it yet. But yeah, and I had to put it into 2 cakes because it was getting too big. To be fair, even this one was like too big at the end, and I had to like peel it off from around the plate at the bottom. So that is project 1, caked up, ready to go, big squoosh, and looking all fun. I found the pattern that I wanted to do. I had an idea in my head of what I wanted, and then I looked up a pattern that I did a while ago called 198 Yards of Heaven, and I was like, yeah, I want something like this. And I just want to do that. I'm just going to do that one. Found some other like fun things which I may or may not kind of give a go at some point, but yeah, so this is going to be the 198 Yards of Heaven. I've got 270 yards, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, the gauge is probably going to be wildly off. So, but it doesn't matter because it's a shawl, just a lacy shawl. And I'm going to do like a super mega block on it as well because it's lace and it's wool, and hopefully that will make it amazing. So yeah, I'm not going to have finished that by the end of it, especially since I started crocheting with the Taylor Swift dress from my bestie. Happy birthday, don't watch this vlog until after your birthday if you watch it at all. But yeah, so that's going to be like a knitting project that I'll start probably fairly soon, but not very soon. So yeah, that's the update. Got some more alpaca floofs to do. I think if I only do the 4 bats that I'm doing now, that won't take me to the end of the week, I don't think. So possibly have to grab out another couple. I'll weigh it and I'll see if I want to do more alpaca or if I want to do something different. And it might be that I do some fun blending, maybe some colours, I don't know. As always, wing it. I'll catch you later. Okay, so this one, we're spinning clockwise. So have it hooked on the little hooky thing.
Yep.
Spin it round clockwise. When it's got lots of twist, hold it in your knees. And then pull this out So it goes to like that thinness, and then let go, and the twist will go up. Give it more of a spin, hold it, and then pull it up, letting a little bit of twist go up into it. If you pull out too much of the twist, doesn't go up, it just needs more twisting. And then when you get like quite a lot, unhook it and wrap it around, and then just rehook it to get going again.
Just again. Oh, well, perfect. Oh, spin from there.
Yeah, so hold it with your knees, and then
Yep.
use both hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Clockwise, yeah.
Yeah. You can give it like a full flick and let go of it if you're feeling brave. You're doing it! I'm gonna work out how many people that I've taught to spin in this Tour de Fleece. I think you might be like number 7.
This just makes me think of a song that I really like.
Yeah?
I don't know if you know a folk artist called Kate Roosby.
I don't think so.
It's a great song, I fucking love it, called This Old Man. Or
Okay.
The Old Man. It's basically the whole song. A lot of her songs are always fun little silly stories.
Yeah.
And, oh no. Pinned. So and then what, hook in, wrap it around.
Yeah. You got it. Make a spindle spinner out of you.
But yeah, it's this whole story about like a farmer basically moaning to his wife that, you know, all the work I do in the field today, you come home, you've done nothing, I could do all of this in one day.
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, have a go then.
Yeah.
And it's him basically just having a go at trying to do all the shit that his wife has to do for him round the home when he's out ploughing the fields. And he goes, oh wow, this is actually really hard. I will shut up and never say a word again.
They did the same thing on Downton Abbey. She like two of the servants got together and she pretended to burn her hand and was like, oh, you'll have to finish the dinner. And it's like, oh, it's okay, it can't be that hard. And he's like fully falling asleep and going, oh, I've got pudding in the oven. Oh no. That's the only spin alpaca on the district line. He's been in Shetland, so that's actually illegal.
Action shot. Splosh.
There was a conversation in the comments under a Mind Walden video that said about like how in different languages the word spinner has got different connotations. So in German, saying you're a spinner means that you're crazy, and so
Yes.
it's spinning though, but like it's the name, like. So if you'd say like, are you a spinner? You could be saying, are you a yarn spinner, or are you nuts? And apparently someone's dad used to call themselves a spinner, like a crazy yarn spinner. So update is Wednesday around lunchtime, and we have made some progress with the alpaca, which I think is probably going to be the final project of Tour de Fleece for me this year. We have spun up a single ply. This is 2 bats of alpaca fibre, and that is just spun up as a single standard way on the e-spinner. Went out yesterday for graduation. which I have mixed feelings about and I won't go into. But I took a spindle with me, so I did some spinning while I was out for the day in London. Not actually during graduation, I had my knitting for that. So I've still got this little piece of floof and this amount left to hand spin, and I may or may not fully spindle this one. I'll just kind of see where I get to it. And I have another bat available, which is going to be part of the second ply. So a full bat plus what's left on the spindle. This is my little carry case with hand span yarn, interlac knitted. So I'm thinking I'm either going to start spinning the bat to create another single, but the amount that I've got on here is like definitely a full bobbin, like it's definitely more than half. So I'll need to spin it up as 2 bobbins anyway. So I am considering getting that sweet plying satisfaction by just plying up what's on the spindle with what I've already spun, so that I've got like some finished yarn, which would be quite fun. And I've also got this older little piece. I think I might save that until like the end of the 4 bats, but this is something that I spun up prior to Tour de Fleece, like months and months ago, which is just a little bit of alpaca fibre single, and it was when I went to ply the 2 together, I had this much left over and I was like, oh, we'll just use that later, and we haven't got to later yet. So I think when I get to the end of it, if I've got like more on one bobbin than the other, I might chuck this in, so then it's just incorporated into some alpaca fibres. Technically that's not Tour de Fleece, and it probably will end up getting counted in, but I'll do my best. Yeah, so it's like 2 meters of yarn. It doesn't matter if I count it in extra, whatever, it's fine. No one is worrying about the totals. There's no prize money. God. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the tiredness, and I don't know if it's just because I had a long day out yesterday and I had a request for some work to do tomorrow come through, and I'm just trying to like scramble to get all the paperwork together, but it's starting to feel like the lack of enthusiasm and tiredness start to slip in with Tour de Fleece and with spinning every day, now that we've got to, I mean, almost the end. It's definitely the last leg. I'd say about halfway through the last leg now. It is like, it's still fun to spin. It's not taken away like my fun of spinning, but like there's a very gentle pressure to vlog and to make sure I'm taking my spindles out with me and to prioritise it over other crafts and things like that. So I am starting to feel that a little bit. So I think like 3 weeks is definitely long enough for a project like this. I think the 100 days of spindle spinning challenge would have possibly murdered me. But yeah, so I think the alpaca will possibly take us all the way through to the end. I looked up when it ended and it's the Sunday as opposed to the Saturday. So I mean, I'd be doing the wrap up then anyway because I've got a long day of work on Saturday. So I'll have some spindle spinning probably happening on the Sunday, maybe even with just some random commercially prepped fibre that I've got in stash. So yeah, that's where we are. I will check back in when I have plied or spun some more single or something. I haven't done any spinning it today, and I've got someone I'm teaching this afternoon, so yeah, I'm sure I'll get some done, even if it's just working the spindle around a few times before the end of the day when my friend's over a different friend is over this evening. So yeah, stay groovy. Catch you later. Okay, another little update. I plied that alpaca. So I've still got loads on the bobbin, like didn't even touch the sides sort of situation. So I expect I may have to make 3 skeins because of being excited to make this little mini skein. Just a small svelte skein, nothing like Chonga's counterparts. So yeah, that's spun up, skeined up, counted, added to the spreadsheet, and just needs to be washed and dried. All of the holographic yarn has now dried, so that's cool. All the stuff you saw me washing earlier. And I've sat down at the e-spinner and just casually spun like half the last bat that I had. I'm thinking, based on like my energy levels and my desire to speak to camera and to like leave things overnight and wash stuff and etc., that I'm thinking I'm probably gonna spin some more tonight, and then that'll be in part 3, because I edited the videos of me spinning and I wasn't thinking. I was like, oh yeah, I know this will be fine, I'll make it 2 parts. But very much like the Lord of the Rings, at the last minute we are switching it into 3 parts. Like the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, we are switching it into 3 parts unexpectedly. But yeah, the last video was an hour and we still got 4 days of spinning, and I got told at 6 o'clock tonight that they don't actually need me for tomorrow, so I've now got those 2 kind of work days free that I didn't before, so probably going to get a lot more spinning done in that time, just to push through to the last bit. So yeah, I suspect the alpaca project will not in fact be the last one. I don't know if I mentioned it. I definitely did it, but I weighed the bobbin before I plied any off today into that little skein, but I weighed it and it's got the weight of the bobbin in it as well, but it came out as like 70 grams by itself, so definitely enough to hit that 50 grams goal, because it's more than that as a single. So yeah, I'm gonna keep spinning the single ply. I've got I've got everything off the spindle, combined with the stuff on the bobbin that I was just waving about. I've got, it's fleece, that's that alpaca. I've got this much from the spindle bag, so that's maybe like 1/4 and 1/8 or something like that, and then about half of one up here. So I suspect it's all going to go on the e-spinner tonight if I just kind of sit down and get spinning again, because it's still even quite early in the evening. I think it's about 9 o'clock exactly. So it's 9 o'clock, so I've still got kind of a couple of hours, because I am a night owl kind of person. So it'll probably all get spun up tonight on the e-spinner. I will probably ply it tomorrow, and that'll probably be when I check in again. And that will be part 3. So this is the end of part 2. Thank you if anybody has watched this. I had a comment on my last video for someone that recognised me from posting in a hair forum 5 years ago. I was very active, it wasn't just like a single post. That would have probably been quite freaky. So if you're watching, hey, thanks for watching a second one. So yeah, and there will be a part 3, and that will include Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like a wrap up within that. And actually, yeah, that might make hopefully not like a full hour long video, but gosh, maybe. It depends how much I ramble, I guess, in the middle, or if I have some really mad spinning adventure and create 5 chunguses. Like, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, see you in part 3.